You know, when collectors and fashion connoisseurs walk into those ultra-exclusive boutiques in Paris or Milan, there's one item that stops them dead in their tracks. A toad skin handbag. Yes, you heard that right. A handbag made from toad leather, priced anywhere from $60,000 to over $200,000. These aren't your everyday luxury bags. We're talking about pieces so rare that only a handful are produced each year. Crafted from one of the most unusual and controversial materials in high fashion. The bumpy, textured surface that makes toad skin so distinctive is the same thing that makes most people recoil. But for the ultra-wealthy, it's the ultimate status symbol. Grab yourself something to drink. Get comfortable. Because what I'm about to show you is a manufacturing process so intricate and so secretive that most people in the fashion industry have never seen it. But before we go any further, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because the secrets I'm sharing today are things the luxury world has kept hidden for decades. Let's get one thing straight from the start. The exotic leather industry is massive. We're talking about a $40 billion global market, and toad skin occupies one of the most exclusive niches within it. Unlike crocodile or python, which you might see more commonly, toad leather is exceptionally rare. Why? Because the farming and processing requirements are incredibly specific, and the yield from each animal is minimal. A single toad provides roughly 40 to 70 square inches of usable leather. To put that in perspective, one medium-sized handbag requires the skins of 18 to 25 individual toads. For a large tote bag, you're looking at 50 to 70 skins. This is why toad leather commands prices that make even other exotic leathers look affordable. The journey begins in specialized breeding facilities located primarily in Southeast Asia. Indonesia, Thailand, and Vietnam are the main hubs for commercial toad farming. These facilities are nothing like what you might imagine. Picture climate-controlled compounds spanning 200 to 500 acres, housing tens of thousands of cane toads at various life stages. The species used is Rhinella marina, commonly known as the cane toad or marine toad. These amphibians can reach impressive sizes. A fully mature specimen measures between 6 to 9 inches in length and weighs anywhere from 2 to 4.5 pounds. That's roughly the size of a small dinner plate. Breeding these toads for commercial leather production is extraordinarily technical. The facilities maintain environmental conditions with scientific precision. Water temperature must stay between 75 and 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Air humidity is regulated at 75 to 85%. Lighting follows natural day and night cycles to stimulate proper hormonal development. Any deviation from these parameters affects skin quality, which directly impacts the commercial value of the final product. Female cane toads are incredibly productive. During breeding season, a single female can lay between 8,000 and 35,000 eggs in one spawning event. The eggs are collected and placed in separate incubation tanks, where water quality is monitored around the clock. Temperature, pH levels, ammonia content, everything is tracked. The eggs hatch within 48 to 72 hours, emerging as tiny tadpoles no bigger than a grain of rice. Here's where the real expertise comes in. The tadpoles are fed a specially formulated diet, rich in proteins and nutrients. We're talking about ground insects, fish meal, spirulina, and vitamin supplements. This isn't just about making them grow. It's about developing that signature texture in their skin. The bumpy, pebbly surface that defines toad leather comes from proper nutrition during the tadpole and juvenile stages. Farms that cut corners on feed end up with smooth, lackluster skins that are commercially worthless. The metamorphosis from tadpole to juvenile toad takes approximately 6 to 8 weeks. During this transition, the animals are moved to terrestrial enclosures with both water and land areas. The juvenile toads continue on their specialized diet, now incorporating live crickets, mealworms, and other protein sources. Growth rates are monitored weekly. Weight, length, skin condition, all documented. It takes 18 to 30 months for a toad to reach harvest size. That's 1.5 to 2.5 years of intensive care for each animal. During this time, workers inspect the toads regularly for any skin damage, scarring, or discoloration. A single scratch or blemish can render a section of skin unusable for luxury goods. These damaged skins get downgraded to commercial or industrial applications, selling for a fraction of the price. We're talking about a 70 to 80% value reduction. When toads reach optimal size and skin quality, they're transported to processing centers. These facilities operate under strict protocols. The toads are processed quickly and humanely. Within hours, the skins are removed and immediately enter preservation. Fresh toad skin is incredibly delicate and perishable. It must be treated with salt and antimicrobial solutions within 3 to 4 hours, or decomposition begins. The preservation process locks in the skin's natural oils and prevents bacterial growth. The skins are stretched flat on stainless steel frames, similar to how artists stretch canvas for painting. This stretching process is critical. If done incorrectly, the skin will warp or develop weak spots during tanning. Each skin is inspected under bright lighting. Technicians look for imperfections, scars, discoloration, thin patches, any flaw that could compromise the final product. Only the highest grade skins, representing about 40 to 50% of total production, move forward to luxury tanning. The rest get diverted to lower grade applications. Now we enter the tanning phase, and this is where science meets art. Traditional leather tanning takes cowhide and makes it durable. Toad skin tanning is infinitely more complex. The skin is thinner, more delicate, and that signature bumpy texture must be preserved without losing structural integrity. The process begins with soaking the preserved skins in a series of chemical baths. First comes the liming process, which removes any remaining flesh and fat while loosening the skin's fiber structure. This takes 12 to 18 hours in a carefully pH-balanced solution. After liming, the skins go through delaming and baiting. These steps neutralize the alkalinity and use enzymes to soften the skin further. Temperature control here is absolutely vital. Too warm, and the enzymes work too aggressively, destroying the skin. Too cold, and the process stalls. The sweet spot is 68 to 72 degrees Fahrenheit, maintained for another 8 to 12 hours. Then comes the actual tanning. For luxury toad skin, most tanneries use chrome tanning, though some ultra-premium producers still employ vegetable tanning methods that can take up to 3 months. Chrome tanning is faster, typically 2 to 3 days, and produces leather that's more water-resistant and color-stable. The skins are tumbled in large rotating drums filled with chromium salts. The chromium molecules bond with the collagen fibers in the skin, transforming it from a perishable material into stable leather. But here's what separates ordinary tanned leather from luxury-grade toad skin. After the initial tanning, the leather goes through what's called fat liquoring. Natural oils and waxes are infused back into the leather to replace what was lost during processing. For toad skin, this is where that supple, buttery feel develops. High-end tanneries use proprietary oil blends, often including neatsfoot oil, fish oil, and synthetic lubricants. The exact formulation is a closely guarded trade secret. Some tanneries have been using the same recipe for over 100 years. The leather then gets dyed. Toad skin can be dyed virtually any color, but natural earth tones like browns, tans, and blacks are most popular because they highlight the texture. The dyeing process involves multiple applications, each one building depth and color saturation. Between each dye application, the leather is dried and buffed. This cycle repeats 3 to 5 times until the desired shade is achieved. Next comes the finishing stage. For toad skin, finishing is minimal because buyers want to see and feel that natural texture. A light coating of protective sealant gets applied. This adds water resistance and prevents color fading, but it's applied so thinly that the bumpy surface remains fully visible and tactile. Some manufacturers add a slight gloss, others prefer a matte finish. It all depends on the brand's specifications. Quality control at this stage is intense. Each tanned and finished skin is graded again. Inspectors examine every square inch under magnification. They're looking for color consistency, texture uniformity, and any processing defects. A single bubble in the finish coating, one spot where the dye didn't penetrate evenly, and that section gets marked as unusable. For a luxury handbag, only flawless sections make the cut. Tanneries typically achieve a 60 to 70% yield of luxury-grade material after all processing and quality checks. The finished toad leather is now ready for the fashion houses. Rolls of this precious material get shipped to manufacturing facilities, most located in Italy and France, where the world's finest leather craftsmen work. We're talking about artisans who've spent decades perfecting their skills. These aren't factory workers. They're artists who happen to work with leather. A single luxury toad skin handbag takes between 18 and 30 hours to construct. That's not counting design time, just the actual hands-on assembly. First, the leather is laid out and patterns are marked. Because each toad skin is unique in size and texture placement, pattern cutting requires incredible skill. The craftsman must maximize the usable area while ensuring the texture flows naturally across the finished bag. There's no room for error. One misplaced cut, and you've just ruined a piece of leather worth thousands of dollars. The cut pieces are then edge painted and skived. Skiving is the process of thinning the leather edges so they can be folded and stitched without creating bulky seams. This is done by hand with specialized knives that have been sharpened to razor precision. The craftsman must remove just enough material to make the edge pliable without weakening it. Too much, and the edge will tear during use. Too little, and the seam will be thick and ugly. Stitching comes next. And this is where true mastery shows. Every stitch must be perfectly uniform, spaced exactly 3 millimeters apart. Most luxury houses still use saddle stitching, a technique that requires 2 needles working simultaneously from opposite sides of the leather. This creates a stitch that's not only beautiful but incredibly strong. If one thread breaks, the entire seam doesn't unravel like it would with machine stitching. A single handbag can require over 2,000 individual stitches, each one pulled tight by hand to exact tension specifications. The hardware gets attached next. We're talking about zippers, clasps, feet protectors, and logo plates, all made from precious metals. Many luxury brands use 18-karat gold, plated brass, or solid sterling silver. The hardware alone on a high-end toadskin bag can cost $1,500 to $3,000. Each piece is hand-polished before installation to ensure a mirror finish that complements the exotic leather. Assembly continues with the interior lining. Contrary to what you might think, the inside of these bags is just as meticulously crafted as the outside. Silk, suede, or premium calf leather linings are hand-stitched into place. Interior pockets are reinforced with additional layers. Every edge is finished. Every seam is perfect. The lining installation alone takes 4 to 6 hours. Final assembly brings all components together. The body, handles, straps, flap. Everything gets joined in a specific sequence that's been refined over decades. Certain brands have assembly orders that are considered proprietary information. The craftsmen work slowly and deliberately. There's no rushing this process. One mistake at this stage, after 30 hours of work, and the entire piece could be ruined. Once assembled, each bag enters final quality control. Inspectors check every aspect: stitch tension and alignment, hardware functionality, leather finish consistency, interior construction. The bag is filled with weight to simulate use and left for 24 hours. They're checking for stress points, stretching, or any structural weaknesses. The bag is opened and closed hundreds of times. Zippers are tested repeatedly. Only after passing this rigorous inspection does the bag receive its authenticity certificate and serial number. Now let's talk about what all this costs. The raw toad leather, before it even reaches the craftsman, runs about $800 to $1,500 per square foot. Remember, you need multiple skins for one bag. Material cost alone can hit $12,000 to $20,000. Add in labor, hardware, and overhead, and the manufacturing cost of a single toadskin handbag ranges from $25,000 to $40,000. The retail price? Anywhere from $60,000 to $250,000, depending on the brand and bag size. Who buys these bags? We're talking about a very specific clientele: ultra-high net worth individuals who view these pieces as investments and status symbols. Collectors who own hundreds of handbags and want something truly unique. Celebrities and public figures who need to stand out. The toadskin handbag market is tiny but incredibly lucrative. Major luxury houses produce only 50 to 200 toadskin bags per year globally. That limited production creates waiting lists that can stretch 2 to 3 years. These bags don't depreciate like normal luxury goods. A well-maintained toadskin handbag often appreciates in value. Limited edition pieces from top brands have sold at auction for 300% above their original retail price. We're talking about handbags as alternative investments, competing with art, wine, and rare watches. The secondary market for exotic leather bags, including toadskin, was valued at over $9 billion last year. Authentication services have emerged specifically to verify these pieces because counterfeits are everywhere. A real toadskin bag has characteristics that are nearly impossible to replicate. The texture varies naturally across the surface. The hand feel is distinctive. Under magnification, you can see the actual pore structure of the skin. Fake bags use embossed leather that looks similar from a distance, but fails under close inspection. So there you have it. From breeding farms in Southeast Asia to the hands of master craftsmen in Europe, from living toad to $200,000 handbag, it's a journey that takes 2 to 3 years and involves hundreds of people across multiple continents. Every step is carefully controlled. Every detail matters, and the result is one of the most exclusive accessories in the world. Next time you see one of these bags in a boutique window or on someone's arm, you'll know exactly what went into creating it. The science, the artistry, the controversy. and the incredible price tag that comes with turning something most people wouldn't touch into the ultimate luxury statement. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into luxury manufacturing, hit that like button and subscribe for more. Drop a comment below. What other luxury manufacturing processes would you like to see explained? I'll see you in the next one.